Welcome to the Lynn Miller Room. In this edition of the Eagles Sports Coaches Show, we're going to start off this show this week by talking a little women's golf. Stephanie Barker has joined us, and the coach right around the corner. The spring schedule is about to happen. It may not look that way with the weather we've been having, but I guess your young ladies are excited about the season.
We are, yeah. We've already been out quite a bit outside. It's been 60s and 70s, and then of course we've had the 12 and 14 degree weather too. So if anything, we'll know how to play in just about everything. And I think, you know, the good thing about being inside is you can use the mirrors, and then you get excited about being outside, because sometimes we take that for granted.
You know, you come back after the fall schedule and you have about a month from the time classes start until the season begin. What do you try to work with the girls on? I mean, I know it's January, and as you said, it's hard to get out, but you usually map out a pretty good plan for them.
Yeah, we have individual meetings shortly before they leave for break, and hopefully, you know, what we've sat down and talked about, having player plans, and each individual knows what they want to work on. Of course, you have to have some rest and recovery too, and certain personalities, you know, need more of a break than others, and I've been in it long enough and at all certain levels to know that. But then once we get started, it's just building on how we did in the fall, knowing what we needed to work on, seeing what improvements were made over the break, and then just, you know, hit the ground running once we get started.
Yeah, well, once they come back in January, probably a little bit of letting them get used to their classes as well, because, you know, that's what they're here for. The fact that it takes sometimes the different kids have different schedules, and then they have to work in with the practice and the games or the matches.
Right, yeah, and if you take like Marissa Camelgarn, for example, right now, she's trying to get into med school. So on top of trying to get into certain schools and finding out where she's been accepted, and she's already, you know, being accepted into schools, so that's very exciting, but then trying to balance her class load and practice and get that mindset that this is the championship season, we got to get going. So they all have different things on their plate, but for the most part, I think within other than my freshmen, they all know the drill. Within the first few days, they know what they're doing, and they know within probably a month, things start going really, really fast. I mean, so right now we have a lot of time. Give it another week or two, and we have no time.
You know, that speaks highly of that young lady, the fact that, you know, wants to get in med school, wants to finish a great career here at Morehead State, and the fact that she's been able to combine academics and athletics as well as she has speaks well of that young lady. Oh yeah,
and I think we're lucky in women's golf in general. The majority of our kids just excel all around. They're good kids. They take their education seriously. They want to do well with whatever they set their sights on. And I was just talking to one of my players the other day. Is like, I can't believe how many doctors, veterinarians, lawyers, you know, successful business salespeople we have over the years. You know, I've been coaching for 14 years, and it's just amazing how well everyone is doing. Yeah, so that's exciting.
Coach Cheney was talking about that last week, the fact that he's more proud of sometimes what they do off the course than on the course. Of course, on the course here while they're playing for him, but you know, after that, and the fact that he had been here 50 years, the fact that he's put many kids through school, and he's proud of the fact that when they come back, they talk about the days they spent at Morehead State, and you know, you'll find out, because you know, our program is relatively new when we re-kicked it back off.
Yeah, I mean, you can't separate the individual from the athlete, and I think that's the great thing about coaching, and sometimes at certain levels as a coach you can forget that because there is such an importance on the sport, but at the end of the day, it's nice to have a very holistic approach where, you know, everyone has to have a balance with the athletics and the academics, balance as a person, you know, have to be taking care of themselves, have to like the people that they're around, and be in balance, you know, mentally. So I think it's just extraordinary when I was talking with Marissa about all the changes that she's seen here, because when you think about our first classes of kids that came in, Marissa was in that second class, but we we really, I mean, we had great things to offer, but nothing like we have now. I mean, we've spent, you know, however many millions out at Eagle Trace improving the golf course. We've built a short game facility. We've built the new wellness center, the new academic center, dining plan, you know, enhancements, just different facilities at the school. And I'm just amazed. You know, she's seen it all and just taken it in stride.
As a coach, when you're trying to rebuild a program or start a program, basically you're starting
We started a program, yeah.
It had been here before, but it had been several years.
It was a little bit more of a club sport. I mean, no offense, but at that time it was like, oh, let's try it, you know, and so.
But with Marissa and the players that come before her, setting the foundation, that helps you recruiting-wise if the people see the success they've had, and then you bring them on campus and you see the facilities that we have. That kind of just put it all together, doesn't it?
It does, and I tell people all the time that there's certain things when you look at campuses that you can buy into the glamour of certain programs of what they have to offer. And you know, some programs have the private jets, and some programs have, you know, a private chef and all these things. But at the end of the day, here, the kids that built this program, they bought into each other. Like, they bought into starting something, building something, setting records, and really building relationships with each other. And I can't tell you how many of them write me and come back. And we've only been around, you know, this is our 5th year in existence. And they're just, you know, their experiences are just so thankful for having.
In the fall, you finished 2 tournaments, winning 2 tournaments, finished second 2 tournaments out of 5. So, I mean, that's 4 out of the 5 tournaments you do real well in. Were you happy with the fall?
Yeah. I mean, I think, not that I'm a perfectionist, but in a way I kind of am. So I think you always are happy, you know, you did well, you set certain goals, we almost accomplished all of our goals, and then you know what you need to work on, and we all know where we could have been just a little bit better.
Stephanie Barker is our guest, talking a little women's golf here on the Eagle Sports Coaches Show. Getting ready to start on February 25th and 26th at the High Point Invitational. Let's go through your schedule for the spring. Looks like a very challenging schedule.
It is, yeah. Spring is always very exciting. It's fun. We go to great places. It's extraordinary to go to Florida. We love our spring break, going down to Ocala. That tournament has turned into, we have 15 teams from all over the country now. That went from having, you know, 7 teams when we started it to just now we have a waiting list, and I probably have really too many players, but it's hard to turn them away. And then High Point, that'll be fun. That actually started out as just we had a couple extra days. We wanted to, you know, warm up, give a couple extra players the chance to go out and compete. We'll probably take 6 or 7 players to that event, and there was going to be about 2 or 3 teams, so it was going to be more like a try match, and now it's turned into a real tournament. There's 8 teams there, and James Madison is a very strong field, great venue. Our tournament will be wonderful. College of Charleston holds a great event down in Pinehurst, and then we finish up before OVCs at UNC Wilmington, another great venue and very strong field. So I think all those tournaments are going to help prepare us for OVCs, which is really our focus each year.
I think a lot of people don't understand being a golf team. You're hosting a tournament in Ocala, Florida. Explain how that came about, and you know, the fact that we are the host school.
Right. Well, essentially it came about because Paige Losher was from Ocala, Florida, and we wanted to go somewhere over spring break. We wanted to have a 3-day tournament, and the tournaments that we are getting invited to didn't coincide with the dates that we wanted, and we got some feedback from a couple other schools that said, hey, if you can put something together, we'll come. And now it's just turned into a great event. It'll be interesting because in the past it's been very manageable having 8 or 9 teams. Now that we have 15 teams, I'm hoping that I can convince a couple extra people to come down and volunteer their time and help us out, just to make sure that the tournament runs smoothly, because there are some extra challenges when you host an event off-site like that.
Juliet Falls Golf Resort, that has to be pretty nice of them to be,
Yes.
able to roll out the red carpet for Morehead State, and also, us using their facility.
Oh yeah, because we play there Sunday, Monday, Tuesday at the height of their season. They give us great pricing, I think, and I mean we just take over the golf course, especially now.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about the roster. You mentioned you had one senior, and of course she's a special senior. But
she is.
Other than that, what can we expect?
Well, I think I've said from the beginning, we have so much depth on our roster, so from week to week I haven't really known what to expect, because I believe that everyone on our roster has the ability to step up at any given time. Now that we're into the spring, it's a little bit more difficult to just go straight off of qualifying. I have to look back at fall performance and go from there. I would say that, one of our other top players at this moment in time is Anna Appert-Lund, who's a freshman, and she's come on strong. I foresee that, as long as she sticks to her game plan and stays in the present, I think that she's going to be able to play really well. Same for Linnea Sholin, our another freshman. She's very strong. She hits it a long way. Just has a great approach to the game. Really fun to be around too, fun to coach. So I foresee her having a lot of opportunities for success as well. And then, of course, we have great leadership with our juniors and our sophomores. So Amali has been playing really solid. I think Sophia Peterson, she's got great experience, and it wouldn't surprise me to see her come on strong. And then, of course, Vanessa Bognot, she was, freshman player of the year, and she's been playing solid. And Hannah Sublett is great, and Katie Rice is a great little freshman. And then Krista. Krista's come into our program, knowing that she wanted to build some skills and become a better player, and it's great to see her turning into a potential traveler as well. So it's all very exciting.
With that depth, that's some challenges for those young ladies. The fact that they probably, maybe learn a lot more because they're going to play against each other all this time and push each other, and that's probably good as a coach when you have that competition out there.
Right. I think that's where our team is really special, because as a coach, if you have certain people that are staying at home, it's their experience needs to be meaningful as well. So how do you have that balance? And so I think everyone knowing that, hey, I need to step it up, and if I am staying at home, at least I'm giving everyone a reason to practice that much harder, to stay on top of their game. And I need to know that if I get the chance to play, that I'm ready as well, regardless of if I've been competing a lot or not. So I think in that respect, it's really neat to see how supportive everyone is of each other. And then in golf, there really aren't any guarantees. You're only as good as your last tournament. So, you might think you're great right now, but but everyone has the opportunity to develop as much as they want.
Of course, the OVC's winding up the schedule April 21st and through the 23rd. What have you heard about the Ohio Valley Conference? What the teams to look out for? Is it too early to tell?
Yeah, I don't know. The great thing about our sport is you're playing the golf course. So, our mental game workshops are all about, staying in the present, getting out of our own way. So most of the competition is really within ourselves and our brain. The ball's just sitting there. We can think an awful lot. So, so we concentrate more on ourselves, and knowing that everyone, like I said before, golf is a really unique sport. People can step it up at any time. You can't take anything for granted. Your competitors, you could shoot 68, they could shoot 66. So it's still a great day. I was just reading something from a friend of mine that is actually on the seniors tour now for the men. Well, he went out and qualified with a 68. Guess what? He was in a 9-way playoff and missed qualifying, and he played great. So you can't really focus on your competitors, but as a coach, I'm obviously interested to see where we stand and how we stack up. I think always, Jacksonville State is always strong. Murray State State is always strong. I really foresee EKU, you know, coming on strong. Belmont is strong. Austin Peay is strong.
Good.
So, you know, I know that most of the teams have been very complimentary about our program and what we've built here, and they know that we're there to compete. So that's nice to know. But other than that, you know, we don't block their balls. We don't tackle them. We really don't do anything. If anything at all, half the time I wish that we didn't even talk to the other teams. You know?
Concentrate,
well, I mean, say hi, but don't bother with it too much.
Eagles will get underway Monday and Tuesday, February 25th, 26th at the High Point Invitational, and of course, as we said, the Ohio Valley Conference will in about late April down at Dixon, Tennessee. Stephanie,
yes,
always a pleasure to see you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
We'll come back. We'll have more from the Lynn Miller Room on this edition of the Eagle Sports Coaches Show.